Hey guys, welcome to the Metal Thrashing Nerd Podcast. Today you are joining me on YouTube with Faye. Faye is a reviewer over at This Day in Metal, and she is also starting a new podcast called the Metalhead Podcast.
I am.
It's exciting to have you here. I'm glad to see there's another podcast starting up. There's always room for more of us in the metal community to be doing these and bringing, doing more interviews with bands and stuff. I kind of want to ask you, what's led you to doing a podcast?
I think the metal Twitter community really is a fantastic place. Amazing people. A lot of the bands are on there as well, so you get to communicate with them and they get their feedback. It's just a really great place. And I had a lot of conversations with people on Twitter individually, sort of about metal, and I just wanted to kind of blend that all together and make a podcast about it. Just to be more part of that community, really.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you're added to the lists on my podcast, so and I try to get those out and get everybody sharing them so we can keep growing the whole podcast community on Twitter.
Absolutely.
I was going to ask you, what was your first experience with metal? What kind of got you into it, and maybe even what's your first album?
What got me into metal was my parents. My dad, he's into Motorhead, AC/DC, Deep Purple, Lynyrd Skynyrd. So I grew up with that, but I also grew up with my mum. She's a huge Rush fan. She also loves more extreme metal, sort of new metal, bit of black metal sometimes. So I've just grown up with that, really. And then when I was about 12 or 13, I heard the Black Album by Metallica. And then I went and bought the Devil Driver album, The Fury of Our Maker's Hand. And those two albums kind of kickstarted my sort of thirst for more extreme metal. And yeah.
So who is your favorite extreme metal band? I mean, there's got to be maybe one. If you're like me, there's like 5 bands and you can't pick. So
yeah. I genuinely can't pick one. The answer to that changes daily, but if I could give you like a top 5, maybe.
Go for it. Top 5.
Okay, well then Carcass has to be in there. Gojira.
Okay.
Mirth, they're a Danish sort of shoegazy, black gazy band. Undeath. And there's so many. I'm gonna miss some out and be like, damn. But I'd say maybe Ginger, actually.
I've got a buddy that's really big into Ginger.
Yeah. But again, that top 5 will change daily. But they're some of my favorites.
Yeah. No, mine does too. Mine's probably so far across the board at this point at 35 years old.
Yeah.
And when you're all the time getting new bands. Yeah. So you mentioned Carcass. What's your favorite Carcass album? Because I'm a huge Carcass fan. I think Bill Steer's the most underrated guitarist in history.
I would have to agree with that. My favorite Carcass album, Heartwork, and then very closely followed by Torn Arteries, the one from last year.
I was always big on Heartwork and Necrotism. I mean, Necrotism. I think Necrotism just for the titles.
Yeah.
Just when you tell someone like, yeah, my favorite song up there is probably Lavaging Expectorate, a Lyser Glide composition, they usually get a chuckle out of them. It throws people for a loop.
Yeah.
Yeah, Torn Arteries is a bit of a random pick. I mean, most people I don't hear people say Torn Arteries a lot, just I guess because it's new, but it's a very unique album for them. I think it kind of lines up with Swan Song a little bit because there's so many different styles going on within the album.
There definitely is, and that's what I like about it. I quite like my music to have some different elements of different genres mixed in a little bit, and it just hit me. I loved it. I really loved it.
Yeah, I know when they were doing the interviews, they called it like Carcass rock and roll or something like that because there's so much of their influences growing up. But like Jeff Walker's really big, heavily influenced by punk. So how does being a reviewer affect you going into a podcast scenario? I mean, is it offering some advantages? Is it change your outlook on things a little bit?
I mean, it's given me more confidence just to be more sort of in the public, sort of on YouTube, or people listening to my voice, seeing my face like now, because before I wasn't that confident in that way. But speaking
None of us
to
are.
yeah, but speaking to these like legendary musicians and interviewing them. I mean, my first ever This Day in Metal interview was Jeff Becerra from Possessed. I
Yep.
mean, legend, right?
Yeah.
Super amazing, super nice guy. And he made me feel very relaxed. But I think just talking to these people, and it's like I've always loved metal and had a passion for it, but it's like sparked something more. So that's why I've gone on to do this podcast, so that I can do something for myself as well that's metal related.
That's awesome. Yeah, you're talking about Jeff Becerra. I actually had do you know who Carl Kennedy is
Mm.
from the Rods? He actually was on, and I kind of asked him for a little bit about the Possessed album Beyond the Gates, because he was the producer on that one. So
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. And here you are, you're like, yeah, my first interview is Jeff Becerra. Okay.
Yeah.
Legendary musician. It's crazy to think where some of the guys from that band went, especially like Larry Lalonde going to Primus.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess when Joe Satriani teaches you how to play the guitar, you can kind of go anywhere.
Oh, yeah, exactly that. Yeah, that guy's a legend. But I mean, I remember talking to Jeff and him saying he's on like his 25th band member or something. He says like they just change out so often.
That's like death metal 101.
Yeah.
Same with black metal.
Yeah.
I had a couple of guys on here. I had Germ from Darkening Skies and Tommy Stewart from Hallows Eve and the Black Doom Records Camp, and they were talking about kind of how the death metal scene is. Tommy said he went down to Florida and he watched this show down there with a bunch of different death metal bands. And what he noticed was in that community, all those guys play in side projects with each other. It's just crazy how many side projects they have. And it's just this intertwined community.
Yeah. It's like one big family. It really is.
Yeah, it really is. And it's like, it was literally the same guys coming up, for every other band. So it's crazy how it's so intertwined like that, just the whole community there.
Yeah.
Now, is this any way going to be affiliated with This Day in Metal, or are you doing this completely independently?
No, this is just an independent side project, just for my own, just for my own sake. It's not for money, fame, or anything. It's just a little community thing.
I don't think any of us do this for money or fame.
Yeah. I don't think I'm good enough to be able to get money or fame from it. So
Joe Rogan does it.
He does.
So, guy from Fear Factor. So what are some of your goals as a podcaster going into this?
Some of my goals.
Yeah. Long term.
Well, because my podcast is about obviously extreme metal, but it's also talking about the psychological aspects that we can apply to metal music and the people that listen to it. So I really just want to just like raise awareness really, and just educate, maybe just if people can learn just something a little about psychology and metal, then that's great, just because knowledge is power, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
After doing this for a year and playing music for 25, yeah, knowledge is power.
Yeah.
So can you tell us who the first guest is going to be?
I will give you a clue. They also run a podcast. And if people follow me on Twitter, then they'll probably guess who it is.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I was about to say there's a lot of metal guys running podcasts.
Well, there's one podcast who I am very good friends with. So,
okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So it's not Timo Tolkien.
No.
No, it's not. Or yeah. All right. It is not. Oh God, what band's he from? And I know what band he's from. He's been on Rat Salad, and I'm part of Rat Salad.
Yeah.
Oh shoot! I listened to the band. They had Elements 1 and Elements Part 2. I can remember everything about them but the damn band name right now.
Yeah.
And they're power metal. I was about to say it probably wasn't a power metal guy though.
No, it's not.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, I've got nothing against power metal. It has its
No.
place. It has its place.
I'm a little more wide open with the bands that come on here, so
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm not just death metal. I mean, death metal
Yeah,
is my
no.
personal favorite, but I love black metal, thrash metal, everything. It's all good.
The thrash metal's a thing for me. I love thrash.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I love
I
it.
actually just got the new creator. Super excited about that.
Yeah, I've had it because as a reviewer, you get albums sort of before they get released. So I've had that for a while. It was yeah, it's a great album. I enjoyed it.
I just got it in the mail the other day. I have to have my stuff on vinyl.
Yeah. I would love to have like an awesome. I see all these people on Twitter with these amazing vinyl collections, and I just like I've got 2 small children, so just the thought of it is just like
Scary.
terrifying.
I've got a 3-year-old. He doesn't mess with it very often. He's messed with it once or twice.
Yeah.
He just likes to go hit play. Like that's his
Aw.
thing. He likes to hit play. And
Yeah.
I know when he was 1 year old, my wife sent me a video and it's him. He's running around in a diaper with a bag of Cheetos. And he had turned on the Motorhead. I just got the 40th anniversary Ace of Spades. And she said he literally scared the shit out of me because all I heard was bum ba dun 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 dun. Like she said she about jumped out of her skin, man. Scared the shit out of her. Of course, my kid, expect no less over here. He was not even a year old, running around in his little walker thing,
Yeah.
flipping out because I played a Suicidal Tendencies album. Probably not the thing you want your kid to listen to as the first Suicidal Tendencies album.
I mean, they've got to start somewhere, right? I mean, I have a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old.
Oh wow.
So yeah, so it's like it's terrifying the thought of having a vinyl collection. I have to be honest. Maybe when I'm older and they're older.
I built a big stand that was I thought was at the time was tall enough for him not to mess with, and now he's at the point that I have put his mom's records on the bottom shelf. So he's not getting into the First Pressing Testament stuff, you know.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I ever come home and there's a crayon mark on that, I might snap. That was a grail.
Oh, that's a bad thought.
Scary thought, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's great having you. I look forward to hearing the podcast and hearing the first episode. We'll definitely get this out. I'll definitely share it. I'm growing the YouTube channel, so I always appreciate a share.
I will definitely do that. So thank you for having me.
No problem. If you're on Instagram, give me a follow. Hey guys, if you guys are on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, give me a follow. Give Faye a follow. You can find her at Death Metal Mom. And be sure and check out some of the latest episodes of the podcast. Be sure and check out the interview I have here with Sean Peck, talking comics and metal. There's going to be a lot more comics talk on this page. So peace, guys. Thanks, Faye. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye.